Hello everybody, Patchwork here, and last stop, at least for today's recording session, on our Age of the Primes list, is the other leader class figure. I'm only planning to get one more deluxe from the current, from Wave 1, and that's Wasp. I do not care for the new Superion. I know objectively it's superior, but whatever. Today we are looking at Grimlock. G2 Grimlock, to be more precise. Now, I accidentally threw away his box, I'll admit. Also, I did post a tweet where I was like, I'm not sure I like the blue on Grimlock, but I have grown to like it. For a reason I'll explain a little bit more later on. But yeah, I do know that there is going to be a reissue of the original Studio Series version, which, in his correct colors, those G1 colors. I think I'm actually good sticking with blue Grimlock here. Also, yes, this is not how he stood in G1. This is just me trying to get a more accurate T-Rex stance out of him. You can, of course, do his normal G1 dino stance, which is too big for my camera. Obviously you can do this. The reason he walked upright like this in G1 is because this is how scientists thought that the T-Rex walked and stood. You gotta remember, this was before Jurassic Park. So, well, this color scheme was not before Jurassic Park. The actual original figure was before Jurassic Park. So, and before a lot of scientific discoveries about dinosaurs. So while everyone remembers Grimlock walking like this is more of a Godzilla walk. A more Godzilla stance. I prefer my Grimlocks to be a little bit more, actual T-Rex stance. Though I do like it when they can do the upright, this is just more how I prefer it. Now, before we get into Grimlock himself, we do have some accessories to get into. We have his gun. His big-ass gun. Like, when I say big-ass gun, I mean big-ass gun. Which can store. There are 2 tabs right here. You'll go into these 2 slots right here. And there is Grimlock with a gun on his back. Doesn't look elegant or good, so I typically just leave it off. And possibly my least favorite thing a Transformer has come with, ironically, even though it's another figure, a little G2 wheelie. This figure is not great. It's not horrible for what it is, but in the end, I would have preferred him come with his sword or a crown. Because he did wear a crown in the Marvel Comics. Not the G1, show or anything, but he did wear a crown in the comic when he became leader of the Autobots. After Prime died. It happened, look it up. But yeah, here's Wheelie. Yeah, he has a little, slingshot. The only real poses you can get out of him are like a, kneeling, slingshot pose. You can have him sprawled out on the floor, dead. He can dab. Remember when that was popular? Like 30 years ago? He can dab. He is designed to sit on Grimlock in one of a couple ways. For robot mode, there's a little port right here on Grimlock and a little peg on Wheelie. For Dino mode, I actually don't really know how he's truly supposed to sit. I think you're supposed to do this and then kind of, you know, get his feet, like, I think his feet are supposed to, like, clip into these little, grooves on Grimlock, but, you know, you can also just kind of have him literally sit on Grimlock's back. I'm going to move his arm because that looks really weird. But yeah, I guess articulation on this thing. The arms are on ball joints. You know, this arm can, you know, this arm can, the hips are on ball joints. And that's literally it. I might end up selling this guy to a friend of mine before this video even comes out, so. Anyway, we are going to set Wheelie off to the side. And bring back in Grimlock, who looks really funny if you, put him from the front, because you can't see his eyes at all. But yeah, here he is. He Grimlock. He Grimlock. And he not let you forget. Yeah. He big. For some size comparisons, here he is with Devastation Optimus, Armada Red Alert, and the Fallen. These guys are both leader class, so that's why I'm bringing in the Fallen. And I just can't stop messing with this guy. But yeah, he is pretty articulated in Dino mode. The head can move up. Move it up too far, it clicks into place. Can move down. Move it too far down, it clicks into place. The jaw can open and close. There is a little spot in there for a blast effect port. He can eat Wheelie. If you actually pop Wheelie's head off, it can actually get stuck in here, and he can actually just eat Wheelie's head. The arms are on ball joints right down here. They're also on hinges. I forgot to mention, you can also rotate his neck. Again, this is more for, upright looking, but still. Again, I just feel like, upright is more Godzilla than T-Rex, so. However, you do have to make sure you have him positioned correctly so he'll balance. Because his massive tail doesn't lend to balance the greatest, but speaking of that, the tail does not move. The hips do a full 360. They can go outward. They can pee. You have thigh rotation. If you're doing it if you're using the legs correctly, he just has a single knee. If you're doing it like me and some other people, you do have another knee joint that goes the other way, so you can digitigrade his legs. Doesn't have ankle tilt in this mode, but the claws can move down, and so can the heels. But yeah. So, I think that's basically all there is to say about Dino Mode Grimlock. He is big, he is chunky, he is good. He is Grimlock. Even though he's blue. Abu dee dabu die. Honestly, any color scheme for this mold I don't think you can go wrong with. Sorry. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with any color scheme for this mold. Though I do believe blue and the traditional gray work the best. Anyway, so I suppose that means we should get down to transformation. So what you're going to want to do is bring the head all the way up like this. And bring it back. So you can then come and split this section. You know, very G1 Grimlock. The Dino Mode arms, you can do whatever you want. I typically just try to line them up as best as possible. These sections are also, you know, on hinges, so you can angle these however you want. I'm going to angle them like this just to get them out of the way. You are then going to want to bring the hips forward. You can bring the head up and clip it in, but I like having the head reveal be last, or at least as close to last as possible. So, you're going to want to come down here, where it says Autobot in gold with the G2 Autobot symbol on its tail. Split the sections of the tail. Bring this forward, and just kind of collapse it into here. You're going to want to unclip the legs. If you don't worry, they will unclip for you. Because if you notice, when you bring the legs down, there's this little curved thing that will straighten out the leg. And it'll just clip in. And boom, that way you can't tab the legs together in robot mode. Kind of cool. I really haven't seen, you know, a system like this since fucking G1, actually. At least not to my recollection. Someone in the comments will probably point out, hey, this was on a 2015 figure, blah, blah, I don't care. Yeah, and then just fold the heel out. Straighten him up. You're going to want to clip this knee joint in. And if you're doing it, you know, the upright position, untab this one. Bring the fist out, which can be very difficult. Bring it in, make sure it's clipped into place. This one is just, you know, is a lot easier to flip out on mine. Oh, I forgot to clip. Then you're going to want to bring the head upwards and shift the chest into place. Then you can do whatever you want with these sections and bring this in and bring the head in, clip it in. And then make sure he's standing correctly and you have everything oriented correctly. And then there we have Age of the Primes G2 Grimlock in robot mode. And honestly, I don't think he looks bad. Again, when I got this guy, I wasn't sure if the blue worked for him, but now I think it actually does work for him quite well. But yeah, I genuinely really think he's really cool. Let's see if we can get a close-up on that head. The head is very G1 Grimlock. Because this is G1 Grimlock, but in blue. You've got an Autobot emblem behind some transparent plastic. Kind of like with the neck of the Dino Mode, which I didn't go over, but that is really nicely detailed under the plastic. And yeah. Got some green for some reason. I know, it's just replicating details on the G1 toy, but yeah, whatever. As for, you know, okay, so he can hold his gun, you know, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't come with it. Pew pew bang bang, pew pew bang bang. It does have blast effect supports, so you know. One other thing you can do is you can collapse these and just give them a fucking, you know, Dino Claw knuckle dusters, which is really cool. But yeah. And if you want, like I mentioned before, Wheelie does have a tab peg. So if you want, you can have Wheelie on Grimlock's shoulder. Which is kind of cute, but again, I am probably selling, or selling isn't even the word, I'm probably giving this to someone else. But, yeah. Yeah, I honestly think he is really cool. Really, really cool. So, sorry, my AC just kicked on. For comparison, here he is with, Devastation Optimus. Because, let's be honest, when Devastation Grimlock is released, it's just going to be a cel-shaded version of this guy. Like, let's be perfectly honest here. And here is why I'll tell you I like the blue Grimlock. Because his colors are almost a reverse of Optimus's. Optimus is mostly red with some blue. Here, Grimlock is mostly blue with some red. And that kind of reflects in their leadership styles. You know, Optimus is a very strong and compassionate leader. You know, meanwhile, Grimlock, even in the comics, when he was given control of the Autobots by Optimus after his passing, Grimlock was a tyrant who was leading primarily through strength and, you know, power. He was the exact opposite of Optimus. And while obviously Optimus and Grimlock's color schemes here are not, you know, mirrors, I do like that, you know, they do have primarily, you know, they do have a somewhat similar yet reversed color scheme. Again, Optimus primarily red and blue, primarily red with some blue, and Grimlock primarily blue with some red. Optimus has some white, Grimlock is black instead. You know, I don't know why, I just really like it. I like it even more since I made that connection. I know it wasn't intentional. Like, I don't think that was the intent of giving Grimlock blue colors. You know, blue and red. I think it was just, fuck it, blue. And yes, I know it's, you know, G2, 90s, whatever. But, yeah, I just like that. Here he is with, Red Alert. And here he is with the Fallen. And here you can kind of see, like, you know, the kind of different spectrum of leader class. You know, big, chunky, but still fun. You know, or also this guy is also really simple. Big, chunky, simple, but fun. Big, chunky, complicated, or not as big, or not as big, not quite as chunky, but and more complicated, but still fun. You know, they're kind of the two spectrums of the leader class price point, which I really like. You know, I really like having both of these guys. Granted, yes, if I had to choose between one of them, or between them, I would still choose Megatronus. Because I just, you know, I just really love that Megatronus. Like, Megatronus doesn't have to do anything to be dynamic and intimidating. I'm getting on a rant about Megatronus in a video that is not his. But yeah. Articulation in robot mode. The head is on a ball joint, can rotate, can tilt left and right, can look up a little bit, not as much as you would think, considering he does have molded in thrusters right here. And in the 86 movie, the Dinobots did fly, but you can kind of make up with that with this plate. You know, the plate his head sits on, which for me likes to try to fall a lot. Like I said, the back wings you can do whatever you want with. Same with the arms. The arms have basically the same articulation as in Dino mode, you know. Full 360, out, bicep, you know, elbow, only they also have wrist rotation. And, you know, I showed you can still collapse the claws, give them a pair of knuckle dusters if you want. He has a waist joint. You can kick forward, that far, back, that far, outwards, that far. He has thigh rotation, knee about slightly under 90 degrees, and ankle tilt. Now, with this guy, another thing is, he is almost entirely filled in. The only hollow places on him are right here in the arms, which this was 2020, I believe, is when this figure came out, and he uses his budget for size, so I don't blame them for not filling in this gap. But, like, even here, there would usually be a gap in his thighs. No. Granted, the trade-off for that is his feet are completely hollow. But who the fuck is really ever going to see the bottoms of his feet? Other than a little bit they poke out, you know, like this for Dino mode. And even then, who the fuck's going to see that? But yeah, this guy is big, beefy, and intimidating. He is, you know, really good. I definitely think he is worth the leader class price point. If you don't, then, you know, that's your opinion. I really like this guy. And I have definitely warmed up to the blue since I got him. Again, especially with making that little, connection with Optimus that I know was not intentional, but still. But yeah. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, give it a like, comment down below, subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Peace.